Hello and welcome to a first impressions video for ZombiU for the Wii U. My name is moshedpotatoez and I just got back from Gamescom 2012, and there's gonna be 3 videos of this kind. One is already up, the Hitman video, and then I'm gonna be uploading the what's it called, Dark Souls 4-player arena fight in a little bit. But let's first of all talk about ZombiU. So that was actually very interesting because I've never really got to play the Wii U before, obviously. And well, let's see, where can we start? So I think I should first of all talk about the game itself, ZombiU, and then about the console and the controller and how it worked, whether I liked it or not. So let's first of all start with ZombiU. So it's a first-person shooter. There's gonna be zombies around. And what I had to do in the demo was pretty much just find some kind of, I don't know, like building. So I had to go across some scrapyard, shoot down some zombies, slap some zombies in the face, and then just go to some building, and then there, I think, look for some medicine. I don't really know. Like, I never really got to finding it because it was rather well hidden, at least for me it was. So I had to end it right there. Graphically, I have to say I wasn't really impressed. Like, while it looked much better than the Wii, I don't think it really get to Xbox or PlayStation 3 standards just yet. That just might be a problem of the game being in some beta or alpha, and it's obviously not going to be, like, it was not the final game. But still, like, some textures were really not that detailed, and especially when a zombie like grabs your face and just like tries to bite you, that didn't really impress me. Like, those textures were pretty ugly, unfortunately. Although, like, the environment, I have to admit, it was kind of neat, but still nothing really that wows you. You're not really impressed by the graphics. Maybe that's gonna change, I don't know. Most of the time, these things do not really change, unfortunately. So let's talk a bit about the gameplay itself and not just about what I had to do. So, pretty much, it controls like any other first-person shooter. So yeah, L button is just aiming down the sights. The R trigger is for shooting, and then you can like reload. And I don't know what, didn't really use the other ones. Oh yeah, and then like, except for that, you have some controls on the touchscreen of the Wii U controller. And that was really odd. So you had a map there, and you could switch weapons on that. And for me, it was really not cool to like look at the big TV screen and then, like, while the action was still going on, still zombies going after me, I had to look down and then press my weapon. It might be just like something you have to get used to, so you can then just switch to your weapon without looking. But like, if it's just a touchscreen, you don't get any feedback by like what button you're pressing exactly. So I don't know how that's gonna work. It really bugged me a little. And then on the touchscreen, you could also like switch to some backpack, where then you couldn't move on the main screen, and you had to then like organize your backpack, and you could just move items around, much like in Resident Evil, but just like using a finger and all that. And what else was there? Yeah, like pretty much other stuff was just, oh yeah, there was also scanning mode. You could scan. I think you can see that in some gameplay trailers. You can like scan the environment for stuff and like check boxes for what's in there. Didn't use that. Don't know if you really have to use it at any point. It seems kind of unnecessary and gimmicky to me, but we'll have to see about that. Yeah, and the other buttons pretty much were just like context sensitive, so in some cases they would just like allow you to jump over some cupboard, I don't know, that was laying on the ground, or grab some loot from the zombies. And yeah, that's pretty much the controls. And then let's now, first of all, talk about the atmosphere. So I think atmospherically it was kind of neat. Like, especially because you were always like surprised when zombies were occurring. Because like you start, there's like one zombie. It's obviously you can just shoot him. That's it. You're good to go. And then like while you're shooting at the next one, there's actually zombies coming from the side and with that first-person perspective, and you not moving really fast. Like you move pretty slowly actually. I was really surprised and like shocked when just like a zombie stepped in front of me, and you can then just like smack him and shoot him in the head, which is pretty cool. And in the building, you had to then go to like the sound and all that. So while I was playing, I was wearing like a Sennheiser headset, so a really good headset, and the sound was pretty cool. Like you'd always like hear a little screeching noise in the background. So like in terms of atmosphere, I think that game does really well. So now let's talk about the Wii U. So as I said, graphically I'm not really impressed just yet. Textures were blurry. I don't know. Didn't really like it. And well, the main part we can now talk about is obviously the controller. So it was the first time that I held the controller, the Wii U tablet, or whatever you want to call it, in my hand. And what's good about it, it's really lightweight. Like, it doesn't really bother you. I think even a Xbox 360 controller might be heavier. I don't know though, I haven't played Xbox in a while. The sticks are really cool, they're placed well, so it's like easy to hold. It doesn't feel uncomfortable or whatever, it doesn't feel clunky, it's rather thin. What confused me was the button placement. So like the A, B, X, and Y buttons, they were a little much too up in my opinion. Like when I was trying to press X, which is pretty much the equivalent to a Y button or a triangle button, I would always hit Y, which is like the X or what's it, freaking like square button on the PlayStation. So they were a little off, but I think it's just something you can get used to. And then the most awkward thing for me was, as I said, having to look at the TV screen and then look down and back up and just like to figure stuff out and sort stuff in your inventory. And that might, like, if it's deliberate, I think it's kind of cool because it really like makes you have to think fast and like take your breaks with care. You cannot just like switch your weapon without any downsides. But it really annoyed me because like when you have to just switch your weapon, you have to, or I at least had to look down and actually look where I was pressing on the touch screen. And I think that may lead to some really unfair deaths. So when you then, after you just died, you're like, man, really? Couldn't I just hit a button to switch my weapon? And I don't know how that's gonna work. Other than like, so like, game mechanic wise, I don't really know if the controller is any good. And I don't know if I actually want to play using that. But like, from just holding it and using the controller, I think it was quite okay. So the thing is, will I, after playing that, do I want the Wii U? My answer to that for now is no. I don't want the Wii U just yet because, I don't know, like, while the game was okay and had some nice atmosphere and gameplay was decent for a Wii title, it also seemed linear and controls a little bit clunky, especially when you then have to switch around. And just like the Wii U doesn't really have any good games announced yet, like except for maybe ZombiU, which is an okay game, but I can't really judge from just playing that. So I don't know how the Wii U is gonna do just after playing that, because like sometimes when you play something you know it's good, but with ZombiU I really don't know. And the other question would be, do I want to play a game like that? So using the tablet controller. And while all the controls except for the tablet itself were really good, so like sticks were working, although there was some input lag, but I think that's just because like it was Gamescom and there's Gamescom, I'm sorry, and there's like a bunch of stuff going on in terms of electronics. So yeah, there was some input lag. But I don't know if I would actually want to play a game like that with the controller, because I think everything that the game presents to you in terms of like the actual tablet mechanics is really gimmicky. Like sorting your inventory by using like the touchscreen. I don't really want to do that. I think I just want to use a controller, like the standard controller for that, because it's just much faster, especially in like situations where you're being chased by a zombie. And then the other thing, like scanning and switch. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus. Ate French fries earlier. um, yeah, switching your weapons is another thing. I don't really want to like mess around with the touchscreen for just switching a weapon. So I don't really know how this game is gonna be. I mean, it looks rather good, except for the textures. It really does look good. Not really like an Xbox game or a PlayStation game, but for Wii, it looks okay. Then I think the concept is pretty neat, although I don't really know how the games is supposed to work, because what I played was very linear. Just go from one checkpoint to another, and I think if that's the case for the entirety of the game, that's not gonna be very fun. But yeah, so atmosphere controls was okay, except for touchscreen. Graphics were a little off. I kind of liked it though. I think it's an interesting game because you don't really see that much stuff like that on the Wii, especially because it's a first-person shooter that's actually working. So let's end it right here. That was just my first impressions on ZombiU for the Wii U and some Wii U controller impressions as well. So thanks for watching. Make sure to also watch the Hitman video that's already up and the Dark Souls video, 4-player arena fight. Yes, and that's what I'm gonna record next. So until then, peace.